So we are back at Disney's Animal Kingdom today. It's another chilly day. I feel like every morning has been chilly at a minimum. But it's supposed to warm up to like 68, 69 later. Hopefully no rain. But the reason why we are here today is specifically because we have a tour booked. We're doing the Wild Africa trek. I'm really excited about this. First things first though, you need to get weighed and fitted for a vest. Don't worry, this isn't Weight Watchers. They're not going to share your weight with anyone.
We didn't actually get footage of a baby okapi out in the wild until, anyone want to take a guess? 2018.
Wow.
Male and female giraffes, boys and girls, they're both going to have those ossicones. The boys, it's much more beneficial to them. Anyone know why the boys would really want to have those ossicones? Yeah, kind of those fighting. Definitely whenever they do that necking and everything like that, those ossicones are really beneficial to them.
The tour starts off kind of slow as you make your way to your first big destination, but we did make a little stop in this bird aviary, which was so pretty, and we learned quite a few interesting facts as well. You are going to be doing quite a bit of walking over uneven terrain during the first part of this tour, and they also require you to wear appropriate footwear and comfortable clothing. So keep that in mind before you head out for your Wild Africa trek. As you can see here, your vest and harness are hooked up to a grounding frame. This will prevent you from slipping and falling at any point during the tour where you are out in the open with the animals. So even if there are some precarious moments, you are perfectly safe. This is also why that weight restriction I mentioned is very important. They want to make sure you won't fall out of your vest and harness and that it can safely hold you should you slip.
But yeah, hitting their food bucket is their cue. Just lets them know that we're up here. And then if they come over to this spot right here, they'll get some food. And was making his way over, but we'll queue anyway, just to maintain the association with the behavior. But they pretty regularly anticipate us coming and get a little impatient and just kind of know the routine anyway. And yeah, that second guy, you can see him doing some acrobatics floating under the water there. They're both adult males. They're actually a dad and his son. So the hippo here in front of us, this is the son. His name is Hans, and I don't think lettuce is good enough for Hans right now, but that's all right. You might have to. That's fun. So yeah, Hans being a little picky there, and then that's his dad Henry coming up behind him right now, and we'll see if Henry wants any lettuce or not. So yeah, I heard some of you mention Henry's teeth. He's kind of got some buck teeth sticking out there. That's actually a pretty good indicator how to tell Henry and Hans apart. They do look pretty similar with one another, even as far as hippos go. There's a little bit of family resemblance there, so they're a little harder to tell apart. There's Hans down at the right, yawning. He might be a little thrown off by all the vehicle activity too. So sometimes yawns from hippos are a sign of aggression or annoyance. Who's pretty large naturally. She's not quite as big as Henry and Hans are. Henry's trying to get that melon there, but she's Tuma's been about as big as some of our other males that we've had here. So with hippos, you never really know. Size isn't a great indication of telling them apart, and in general, male and female hippos just look very, very similar. Anyway, there's not a whole lot of big differences between the two genders.
We have a hippo bone clone skull here in the woods. You get a good view of those incisors and canines here. Now, in the wild, they would just kind of open and crack them open as they're chewing and as they're like doing jaw clashes with each other. So as Chris was talking about how like if the hippos are like irritated or annoyed by someone, they'll do that big yawn. Did anyone see how big Hans opened up his mouth down below? It was kind of an okay big. Hippos can, it's been estimated and measured like protractors and things like that. It's about 165 degrees ish, so it's about that wide. And to put it into perspective, Henry, remember who's who, the dad When his mouth is fully open, bottom to top, it's about the size of a Disney trash can.
Okay, here's where it gets really fun and why those harnesses are so important. Video footage will not do this justice, but you're about to get the best views in all of Animal Kingdom, maybe even all of Walt Disney World. This is also what makes the Wild Africa Trek truly a unique and memorable experience in my opinion. I really liked how they didn't rush me. We all got to take our time walking across the rope bridges, and they only allow one person on the bridge at a time, so you don't have to worry about anyone else bouncing it around while you're trying to cross those big gaps. This is a little precarious. Oh, I got short legs. So we're walking our way over to the crocodiles over there. Oh my goodness. If heights are not your thing or you suffer from vertigo, you might want to skip the Wild Africa Trek. As you can see from these photos, we are quite high up. I was even shocked to see it myself. And with all those gaps in the rope bridge, I think someone with a fear of heights might really struggle with this tour. We just went. As you make your way from one rope bridge to another, you'll come across this landing where a cast member will assist you in switching your harness over. They won't let you continue on until they ensure that you are securely hooked up, and at no point did I feel even remotely unsafe.
Come on and take a big step all the way towards that wall for me. Awesome. You're good. You can go ahead and head across to the other bridge if you would like.
Look at him go. He's a natural. Those long giraffe-like legs. All right, so we're coming up to the crocodiles now. This rope bridge is super fun. Big gap. Look at them. I don't know if you can tell how close we are, but we're really close. These are really big gaps when you're walking over a pit of crocodile.
Stop right. Actually, come on, quick. Right there. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Come on through. Close that door. That's okay. And then I'm gonna hang you. Alright, go ahead and stay behind that yellow line for me.
Okay. Thank you. Hippo's got a big footprint, huh? I was the first one of our group to walk across the bridges, so I had to wait at the other end for everyone to make their way across. But they give you a water bottle that hooks up to your vest, and there's a cold water station here, so this was a great place to rehydrate and check out some footprints. Let's get Rex's reaction to walking over the crocodiles, or the alligators. I gotta double check. Did you enjoy that though?
Yeah, it was fun. See the alligator with missing one hand?
No, I didn't see that. It's a little precarious, like when there's big gaps in the steps. There's just crocodiles. Okay, I think these are crocodiles, but I'm really bad at telling them apart. So let me know in the comments if I got it right or just how wrong I am. That's fine too. I know that at one point a cast member did say Crocs, and I don't think he was talking about the shoes, but I don't even know at this point. One of the things I really love about the Wild Africa Trek is that it is all about the conservation and protection of animals. I found it really fascinating the different ways they have helped protect different creatures throughout the world. And part of the price of this tour, which is $199 per person, goes towards Disney's conservation projects. This tour also leaves a lot of room for questions. I highly recommend taking advantage of this. Even if you feel like your question is stupid, I promise you it's not. I found that every time a cast member answered a question that I already knew the answer to, they also went on to provide more facts and more details about things that I didn't know. So not only is this tour super fun, you're gonna learn a lot too, which I really appreciate it because I personally just love animals so much. So the more time I get to spend with them and learn about them, the better. This is actually my second time doing this tour, and I would totally go back for a third.
Then I shaved a zebra because, you know, that's the lifelong question. Is a zebra black with white stripes, white with black stripes? What are they? Black with white stripes? The correct answer is, actually I have a friend, he is a zebra keeper here, and I said, Patrick, what is the answer? And he said, they are black and white. So a zebra's skin is actually striped just like their fur is. But I did mention wildebeest to you. Ta-da! These are our wildebeest over here. Now, everyone probably doesn't come on the safari being like, I want to go see some wildebeest, but they're really funky creatures. They do all have names. Okay, so if you've watched our Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom show, we kind of take you behind the scenes, show you how we care for the animals. So Kenya, the one that just walked by, she was the one that we had to do the voluntary hoof trim on. And then this is Jabari and Willow behind us. Willow's the one on the left. Jabari's the one behind her. And Jabari was the one that was actually born on the savannah. Yes.
You also get a slower journey through Kilimanjaro Safaris, but you get a separate and sometimes closer track to the animals. They stop the trucks more often too, so you can take your time enjoying the views and asking as many questions as you like. Towards the end of your tour, you'll stop for lunch at the best lunch spot in all of Walt Disney World. I mean, look at these views. You are literally in the middle of the safaris at Animal Kingdom. Off in the distance, you can watch the elephants play or the giraffes roam. I promise you, it does not get better than this. Lunch is comprised of African-inspired snacks. The menu items will vary, but you can find things like marinated tandoori shrimp, curry tofu, hummus and pita, prosciutto, fruit salads, veggie wraps, and more. They'll also bring around pog juice for you to enjoy with your lunch. I really loved the way everything was presented, and it was all super delicious. If you have food allergies or dietary restrictions, they ask that you email them a couple weeks prior to your tour and let them know. I don't eat meat and I have a few food allergies, and they were able to accommodate me with a custom lunch, no issues. One last thing before we close out this tour, there are 2 cast members on each tour, and while one of them is talking, the other is taking photos for you. So not only do you get amazing photos of the animals, you'll also get some great candid and pose shots of yourself on this epic journey. I 100% recommend this tour, and I would definitely do it again, as your experience will vary each time. And while it is quite pricey at that $199 price mark, I think it is completely worth it. Between the up-close encounters with the animals, the amazing rope bridge walk, and the absolutely stunning lunch, you cannot go wrong by booking this tour.